From Morgan Freeman to Bill Burr, Kanye West, and countless others, the biggest names in Hollywood didn't miss a single chance to obliterate and outsmart the propaganda-pushing, atheist interviewers trying to control the narrative.
Everything in the universe was once crunched into something smaller than an atom.
But you don't know that.
Well...
You're just believing Stephen Hawking, and that's a matter of faith in his abilities.
Yes.
You don't know it yourself. You're accepting that because someone told you.
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais was trying to act all smart on the Stephen Colbert Show, but the savage one-liners coming from Colbert were so reckless, they left Gervais completely speechless.
Talking about hell before, about this tweet about you going to hell.
Yeah.
I know that you're an atheist, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. People have been debating... that's the devil waiting for you in hell, by the way.
These celebs who worship science and can't even tolerate the idea of God forget that there are still people out there who believe and they're not getting a free pass. In the same way, Stephen stayed cool but hit hard on Ricky, throwing sharp little jabs that had him scratching his head the entire show.
So, Ricky Gervais, why is there something instead of nothing?
No sense at all.
You have to answer my question.
That's not the two choices.
No, but the choices I'm giving you, I'm the host.
Well, I don't...
You want to concede the debate? Why is there something instead of nothing?
Hold on.
Mic drop moment. Atheist interviewers never have it easy on their own shows when they're up against someone with the aura and intellect of Morgan Freeman.
But you don't believe in anything else?
Anything else?
Well, it's a religious thing, like is it in God or is there something like that?
Well, you can separate God from religion, which is what I do. I believe in God.
Morgan was like, believing in God is like believing in me. And you can't run from that argument because what he said was the brutal truth. The biggest argument for God's existence is his own existence. He didn't just pop out of some random dice roll in the universe. He's here because someone created him.
Black History Month you find
Ridiculous.
why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
In the same way, Morgan Freeman refused to be played by this famous atheist interviewer and straight up shut them down over the nonsense of Black History Month.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't.
Oh, why not? Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
Morgan Freeman didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. When asked about Black History Month, he simply asked, "Which month is White History Month?" The silence that followed said everything. Freeman didn't dismantle the question. He exposed its shallowness with surgical precision and reminded the world, history isn't a fraction, it's whole.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man. And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
Similarly, once Don Lemon tried to pin racial barriers on wealth, but Freeman wasn't buying it. Calm, confident, and unwavering, he answered with his life. No one handed him anything. He worked. That's the message. Focus your mind, pursue your goal. It's not about what holds you back, it's about what you chase.
Do you think that race plays a part in wealth distribution, or either a mindset that you can't or
Today?
cannot? Yeah.
No.
You don't?
No, I don't. You and I, we're proof. Why would race have anything to do with it? Put your mind to what you want to do and go for that.
Forget making atheists lose their minds. Chris Pratt did that on an entire award show stage. He proudly and loudly declared his belief in God and love for him in front of everyone. And it was absolutely jaw-dropping.
God is real. God loves you. God wants the best for you. Believe that. I do.
So when he was interviewed online and asked if he really believes in God and how he lives that belief, Chris was crystal clear. He didn't hide his faith or downplay his religious practices just to fit in, unlike most of the fake celebs in Hollywood.
Sinful, broken nature of humans, just like living in my heart, you know. And then with my son was born, we really had a health scare with him because he was born very early, and was only 3 pounds, and we were in this he was in the NICU for a month, and he had all of these issues going on.
Ye West has unapologetically spoken about his relationship with Jesus without giving a damn about the atheist industry, and he just kept rising like wildfire.
Yes, but I definitely was lost. I got lost. I got caught up in my own ego, my own strategy, my own ideas. I tried to hold everything in my own brain, and then I had to let go and just let God and put it back in his hands.
Kanye West might be unpredictable, but when he was asked if he fears losing fans, his answer was lightning. I'm only afraid of God. He wasn't following the rules. He was smashing them. Kanye reminded the world that real freedom doesn't ask for permission. You don't follow culture. You create it.
People need the voice, and even right now, what I'm doing or how God is using me, I'm showing where our voices are being muted.
But hey, how can you ignore the guy who literally plays Jesus in movies and lives by the love of God? Even the liberal propaganda machine known as The View had to appreciate him. He was bold, vocal, and unshaken about his faith right there on that atheist-filled show.
About how you take care of yourself in order to be the person people would like you to be and also stay who you are.
Yeah, I think for me it really comes down to making sure that I'm right in my own relationship with God.
The guy openly says he's on a mission, and no matter what Hollywood wants from him, he's gonna do what he believes in. He carries himself in the image of Jesus and walks into interviews with that same purpose. Even atheist interviewers can't help but be impressed by his character.
And like everything else that I've committed to on this journey, I have to surrender it. I'm like, Lord, you've given me this opportunity. It must be for a reason. So I'm not going to worry about the consequences. I'm not going to worry about anything. I'm just going to go authentically be who you made me to be.
When it comes to outsmarting unhinged woke atheist interviewers, Jerry Seinfeld is right at the front of the line. Just watch how boldly he flips a fully loaded racist question into a burst of laughter.
Talk to? I have noticed that most of the guests are mostly white males of 22 episodes.
Yeah,
that
let's get into that.
No, but you
take a look over here, Peter. What do you see? A lot of whiteys.
Jerry Seinfeld wasn't having it when a reporter tried to corner him about the racial makeup of his show. With surgical sharpness, he flipped the narrative, reminding everyone that comedy isn't a Census Bureau job. He made it crystal clear. It's about who's funny, not fitting into someone's color-coded checkbox.
And I have no interest in gender or race or anything like that, but everyone else is kind of with their little calculating, is this the exact right mix? You know, I think that's, to me, it's anti-comedy.
Speaking of comedians shutting down unhinged questions from completely lost journos, here's Bill Burr obliterating this woman when she brought up the tired topic of women in comedy.
Some people have a hard time saying yes, though. There's a lot of angry young men on the internet that are like, women can't be fun.
Will you guys just fucking grow up and just sit down and write your own horse shit and come up with it? Start your own fucking show. Have your own award show. Quit waiting around for other people to do shit.
Bill Burr didn't give a TED Talk. He gave a wake-up call. When asked if women can be funny, he didn't just say yes. He torched the whining, the waiting, the please let us in mentality. Want a seat at the table? Build your own. Burr made it loud and clear. Comedy isn't a charity.
Become undeniable. Well, when was the last time you went on stage and you killed so hard the person after you bombed? If you're fucking doing that on a regular basis, people are gonna notice regardless of what you have between your legs. Yep. All right? Thank you, and God bless.
Now, how can you overlook one of the wisest men in Hollywood, Denzel Washington? The man's got real belief, and on top of that, the class to shut atheist Hollywood down cold. He delivers straight mouth stoppers. No ifs, no buts, no sugarcoating, none of that crap.
Right now, but strength, leadership, power, authority, guidance, patience are God's gift to us as men. We have to cherish that.
When Denzel Washington speaks, people listen, and this time, he shut down a loaded question about race relations by pointing out something far deeper. Love can't be legislated. He said it's about human connection, not policies. No fancy answers, just raw truth. That's how you dissolve division. Not with laws, but with love.
Under his leadership?
Race relationships have to do with race relationships. You're white or whatever you are, I'm black or whatever I am. We're standing here talking now. That's how we get things done. You can't legislate love. The President of the United States can't legislate us into like.
When another interviewer tried to reduce art to race, Denzel pushed back with pure wisdom. The conversation shifted to how faith can impact people, and Denzel made it clear. His faith isn't for show, it's how he lives. For him, it's a lifelong journey, not some box you tick and move on.
Active? Well, you have to use your gifts. Faith without works is nothing. So not everybody has to be an activist. A woman prophesied years and years ago that I would travel the world and preach to millions of people.
Now let's have a watch of how Samuel L. Jackson shut the interviewer down after getting stupidly criticized for using a word. He clapped back like, "It's so damn woke to get annoyed over little things, bro. I'm not having it."
Have you ever said it?
No, sir.
Try it.
I don't like to say it.
Try it.
Really? Seriously?
We're not going to have this conversation unless you say it. You want to move on to another question?
Okay. Awesome. I don't want to say it.
Come on.
Samuel L. Jackson didn't just answer. He turned the tables. When a reporter hesitated to say the word he was questioning, Jackson demanded honesty. Suddenly, the power shifted. Jackson exposed the performance behind the question and showed that if you're not ready to talk real, you're not ready to ask.
Why do you want me to
They're
say
gonna bleep it when you say it on
know,
your show. Say it.
I can't say it. If I say it, this question it won't make air.
Okay, forget it.
Okay, I'll skip it. Sorry, guys. It was a good question.
No, it wasn't.
It was a great question.
It wasn't a great question if you can't say the word.
I wanted to ask about...
Now, when it comes to shutting down atheist nonsense while holding an Academy Award, Matthew McConaughey is second to none. In fact, he dropped a straight-up mic-dropping answer to those who blindly worship science while tossing all faith and religion out the window.
And it was about how can you be a believer in a world of science? And I remember writing things like during the making of that movie, like science is the practical pursuit of God. The two are not exclusive. They dance together. They go together.
A reporter tried baiting Matthew McConaughey into a political trap, but the Texan star knew the game. He swerved it with grace, refusing to hand over a soundbite. Politics isn't a stage for theatrics. If he runs, it'll be because he's needed, not because someone wants a headline. That's poise, not politics.
That was the thing. He was not an evil man. I don't even know if you can call him a non-believer, but he was always going after the truth, and the truth burned. And he would take the scar and get burned for it. He'd die for it. Something was actually biblical about that, you know? And so...
Now let's shift focus to Jim Caviezel, who straight up calls any idea that leaves God out pure garbage. No atheist interviewer even dares to mess with him. Why? Because he's clear, fearless, and sharp enough to shut them down in seconds.
Did you experience anything like that?
That right there, what you're saying, that's garbage.
Okay.
And I want to tell you, these entities will pay a high price when they dare get near God's children. And you're God's child.
You can tell right away, he's a no BS guy who speaks straight and talks about God without hesitation. The world he lives in is nothing like the twisted agenda Hollywood pushes, but he doesn't give a damn. He keeps doing what he loves, spreading the love of Jesus. And honestly, that's just magnanimous.
But David what was profound, it was like, nobody talks about my father this way. Nobody. He loved them that much. Can you imagine? Our good God, he's not loved enough by us.
Now tell us, which of these real-time heroes' responses to atheist interviewers blew your mind the most? Drop it in the comments below, and yeah, don't forget to smash that subscribe button.